Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, I'm going to be talking about a pop artist who released what some would classify as a novelty hit in the early 80s, but has actually evolved and has created a very small but a very exciting body of work. And I am talking about Josie Cotton. Now, Josie Cotton is best known for an early 80s hit by the name of Johnny, Are You Queer? And of course, you know, the PC and the woke folks would probably ban that by now, but it has become an absolute new wave standard. It's appeared in films and it's been covered, but she went on to prove that she is so much more than that song. And I'm going to dive into her catalog right now. I usually like to start these episodes off by telling you how I got into the artist, and that's basically because I heard her second single. Now, the first single, I thought, oh, it was very catchy, very retro 60s girl group meets the Go-Go's type new wave pop. Really super catchy. But the song He Could Be the One is the one that really, really caught me. Because I kind of, I'm going to admit this. The first time I heard Johnny, Are You Queer? I would definitely put her in the category of like the Flirts, Put Another Dime in the Jukebox, or Julie Brown, Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun. And that's unfair. But she was more than just that song. And her debut album from 1982, Convertible Music, actually proved that. This is a great, like I said, girl group meets new wave sound, written and produced by Bobby and Larson Payne. In fact, Josie wrote songs. One of my favorite songs on the album called Systematic Way she wrote. But like I said, Johnny, Are You Queer is on the album. He Could Be the One is on the album. And it's just chock full of great hits. Now, there's two different ways that you can get this on CD. The first time it came out on CD, it was available as a twofer with her second album called From the Hip. And that contains the album's original 11 tracks. The album was actually 12 tracks, and they pulled Let's Do the Blackout from it. And this version, which is available through Josie's website, which I will link in the description box below, this contains Let's Do the Blackout. They add it where it was originally intended to be on the album. Funny thing about the song Johnny, Are You Queer? Is originally the Go-Go's performed that live, but they never recorded it. Josie did, and it became a hit and set her career in motion. That was her first album, came out in 1982. In 1984, she released the album From the Hip, which is that album there. There was a radio hit on that album. It was a cover version of Looking Glass's Jimmy Loves Mary Ann. And yes, Looking Glass, the same band that did Brandy. I actually prefer her version over their version, and I love their version. But it's just a great tune. Lindsey Buckingham is on that track. And this album, again, is full of just great 60s girl group meets new wave sounds. There's a lot of pop culture references, either musically or lyrically, in her music. And it's really fun to listen to because it's both perfectly in time with what was happening in 84, but perfectly out of time as well. And that is just really the charm of both these albums. So if you need to find both of these, I believe this is out of print, but you can still track that down somehow. But if you want convertible music with that bonus track on it, I definitely recommend you check that out. Now, she actually went in and recorded an album in 1986 that never came out. In 2019, they put out the album Everything Is Oh Yeah, and that contains that album from 1986. And then they added a few bonus tracks. It is just a great fun. It's more new wave than 60s girl group, but lots of great songs on here. If you love the first two albums, you're definitely going to want to check this out. Everything Is Oh Yeah, recorded in 1986, not released until 2019. Now, Josie was missing from the record and the CD racks for many, many years, but she returned with an album in 1993 in France, I believe, but then it got released in the US in 1996, and it is called Frightened by Nightingales. There's some great songs on it. Most every song here, or I think every song here, is actually written by Bill Ray, and Josie contributes lyrics on many of those. And it does have some great songs, like In the World Tonight's a great song, and it's really kind of different. It still has that Josie Cotton vibe to it, but it also has like some world music elements, and she's trying new and different things. And it's a very, very interesting album. Like I said, it has some really good songs in it. I'm not going to say anything bad about it, but it's not my go-to because everything else around it is just the albums that I absolutely love. I think somewhere around there was an album that she was supposed to release in the early 2000s that never came out. But in 2006, she released the album called Movie Disaster Music, another fine collection of songs. This finds her, still mining the 60s, but, it's more, a little more kitschy. And where like Julie Cruz was sort of the musical muse of David Lynch. Josie Cotton just sounded like maybe she'd be in films by John Waters or even like a Pee Wee Herman movie, because it's fun. It's a little eccentric, but it's always riveting to listen to because the songs, the melodies are really wonderful. Throughout her career, she's had these songs, she's known for the upbeat and maybe a little bit odd pop, which is fabulous, but also she's got some very beautiful melodies in her songs as well. So Movie Disaster Music came out in 2006, another great entry in the Josie Cotton catalog. Some of this has like a feel of, maybe like a B movies or something. So it struck me ironic that her next album was called Invasion of the B-Girls, came out in 2007. This had more, electronic feel, more modern sounding, but it still had that 60s vibe to it. And what this album is, it's a collection of B-movie themes or songs from B-movies that she recorded and, updated. And some of them are just fantastic. It's a really fun album. Again, there's beautiful moments on this album. It's perfect for lovers of the 60s and the 80s and just overall pop culture. Just a nice nod to some long forgotten songs. But anyway, it's a very highly recommended album. It took another 3 years until she put out the album Pussycat Babylon, which is a collection of mostly originals. It does have some dance rhythms and electronics in there, but still very 60s based. A lot of great songs, nods to great music and movies from the past, and it's just a really fun album. Again, she manages to slip in songs that have these, very beautiful melodies, and other songs are just upbeat and really hooky. So Pussycat Babylon came out in 2010. Took another 13 years, but she just put out a brand new album that's actually available, I believe, this week. And it is called Day of the Gun. And this actually might be the most consistent Josie Cotton album since her first two. It's just as eclectic as everything that came before, but it's more focused. So it's got this indie pop sound, still reaching back to the 60s, still pop culture references like Disco Ball and the Ballad of Elvis Presley, but it's just filled with some wonderful songs. Stuff that's going to excite, fans of the old stuff as well as fans of the more recent stuff as well. Just really an underrated artist, and it makes you wonder why she isn't bigger than she is. And it is called Day of the Gun. It is a brand spanking new album. Now, everything I've talked about except for this, which is out of print, everything else here is available from her website. I'm going to put the link to her website in the description box below. But what I'm going to do now is I took a couple songs from each album, just little snippets. I put them together in a medley so you can hear what Josie Cotton sounds like. So sit back, relax, give this a listen, and I'll see you on the other side.
'Cause when I see you dancing with your friends, I can't help wondering where I stand. He could be the one, I like his style. He could be the one, his love on trial. He could be the one to make it all worthwhile. Yeah, he could be the one, he could be the one that's got to be
Anyway, that's it. I hope that this inspires you to check out Josie Cotton's music. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, to ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.